women, it's all in the subtleties. I mean, what was there in black line art is just like nothing compared to when you can actually get the tones and the shades and all the subtle stuff that comes with coloring and gray tones. To me, it's all in the subtleties when it comes to drawing a woman or a female character, correct? Yeah, I love these brush tips, they're so nice. You know what, I was a big Prismacolor guy for a long time, and it was actually my friends Adam Hughes and Allison Sloan they just kept swearing like, oh, Copic, 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 and I was like, what's the big deal? And they were saying, oh, well, first of all, you can refill them, you can change the tips and all that stuff, and I was like, but when I tried using them, they just blend so well, and it really is like using like brushes. I mean, it's like using watercolor. It's pretty wild. Yeah, so I can't go back now. I'm totally sold on it. I saw some other companies are kind of like jumping on that technology or that look, so I might try other companies because they're not cheap, of course. But I do love the ability of refilling them, and they just have a lot of flexibility.
If you could draw one DC character, which would it be?
Oh, Batman.
Batman?
But I mean, I would do a very... Like anybody who should draw Batman, I have a very specific take in mind of how I would do it.
Long ears, short ears?
That's a great question. I don't think they'd be short ears, but I don't think they'd be like crazy long either, like, you know...
Kelly Jones.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that either. But the stubby ones, you know, that's more Jim's thing and more the Dark Knight thing.
Yeah.
So I would try to find another way. I'm going to do curved ears. Corn chip ears. Sounds like that fight scene from Kill Bill. Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. Is the other artist ready? I don't want to hold him up.
Well, he went with his son to go show him a few things, but
Okay.
I apologize for in the beginning too. I mean,
Oh, no, that's, you know, hey, it's out of your hands. It's just the way it goes sometimes. But I don't want to hold him up if he's waiting.
It's fine. He's not here yet.
Okay, well, just let me know. I'll keep going until it goes done. It's a little bit like that. It's more about like kind of like you just kind of have to play with them kind of. I mean, I'm kind of doing a little bit of a rush job here. The more you can finesse it though, the more you'll get an even blend. You can also blend to depth too, where any of your harsh maybe intentional shadowing will be blended away because you kind of worked it too much. And also too, the paper and everything just starts to deteriorate too after a while too. So you can't like overwork it that way either. But it's mostly like I mean, when I do pencil, I tend to do a lot of smearing with my finger, so it's a totally different approach for me. But the best I could say is you just get some and just kind of like experiment with it. I like this paper a lot too. This is a paper that's, yeah, it's a paper that says bleed proof, although it bleeds a little bit. It's not a big deal. But it's good for marker. I find that it absorbs marker really nicely. Well, it's like in this case where it's bleeding, I actually don't mind because it's giving a little bit of a nice look where it bleeds. It doesn't bleed on the line art itself, which is the more important thing. I think there's just so much ink coming through this like nib that it's almost impossible for it not to have a little bit of a bleed. But that's good because I don't want it like the marker not keeping up. I mean that's why it's good to have that much flow coming through the marker. So here I'm just trying to create like more of a metallic, or a base for what will ultimately be a metallic look where it's got more reflection going on here, like there's a light coming here, light there, and as I build upon it, it'll get more and more noticeable. I'm really observant about my other colleagues and what they're doing. I'm the first to steal a technique. If I see something that's done really well, it's like, oh, I'll do that. A lot of my colleagues have been doing this kind of mixing of the gray, warm gray and the cool gray lately at shows, and it's become a real nice little shortcut to getting an extra dimension to your artwork without really going full-blown color, because that's a big commitment. A lot of us don't want to carry around a whole arsenal of markers to every comic book show we do. But it's feasible to carry around a few grays and get a nice little effect going without really committing to a crazy amount of gear that you gotta take around.
I was saying, right, it's not the tools, it's the artist.
It's true. I mean, I've seen some guys pull off some pretty amazing effects with very little at their disposal, and yeah, that's you always want to be able to do more with less, but. Yeah, it's true. That is funny. There are so many guys doing stuff digitally that I do find that, like, occasionally you do find people really oohing and awing when it's like done without digital tools, because it's becoming more and more of a thing that people don't see. Yeah, they're not used to artists doing that as much now. So if you can do something with actual art supplies versus a digital Cintiq or Photoshop, it's kind of, sometimes it impresses people quite a bit, actually.